The truth in love. You've heard that being said many times. We have to tell the truth in love. However, sometimes love can look different for us, different people. You've heard people say, I'm a straight shooter. I just tell it like it is. And sometimes people react well to that. But sometimes, and for the majority of us, approach has a way to influence how we receive a message from someone else. Sometimes we focus more on the message than on the relationship. And in order for someone to actually receive something that we're trying to convey, we have to build some kind of relationship. And that doesn't mean you have to be friends forever, some kind of rapport, even if it's brief, you have to connect with the other person. I just posted a video about communication and how in this era where we can communicate so many ways, where we have social media, the internet, FaceTime, and right now I feel like sometimes we are even more disconnected than we were before. And I think it's because through the lens of a camera or a keyboard, we have lost some of those skills that we had to practice when we were face to face with someone. Because there are certain things that you wouldn't tell somebody face to face, or you would modulate the way you would say things. And because behind a camera and behind a keyboard, we don't have that fear. We tell it like it is. And sometimes we focus most on being right than in building a relationship. And even if you are correct, even if the information you have is absolutely accurate, you are not going to convince another person of the information unless you have built some kind of relationship. I can give you a big example. I have a sister. I have several sisters, but I have a sister that she and I, there's a topic of conversation that we are totally opposites. Like one is white, the other one's black. One is north, the other one's south. We try to avoid that topic to keep the relationship, but sometimes she says things that are absolutely factually not true. And I don't go and say, hey, you were wrong, you were this, name calling. I said, let's think about that. And sometimes I get her through a process through the conversation for her to actually realize that what she's saying doesn't make sense. Or I say, hey, I found this article. And it's not from your point of view or my point of view. It's by a neutral source. Check it out. Has it convinced her that some of that information that she was given was wrong? No. It has kept the relationship. We can actually talk about things because of the approach. Do I always do it right? Absolutely not. But what brought me to this conversation was I was talking to someone online yesterday, and they were given some information that was harmful to them, that was producing self-hatred because of how bad that information was. And this is somebody I don't know. They don't know my real name. I don't know the real name because it was a forum where people use usernames. We don't even have our pictures. And I started a dialogue of conversation and how the information that they have portrayed to this person, and from the conversation, we were about the same age, how it had hurt her perception of herself. And obviously at the beginning she was a little defensive, and I was like, well, I gave her some information that she could check herself, and I apologize, even though I had never met this person. I apologize for someone giving her information that would make her hurt herself, that would make her hate herself. And we had a few exchanges, and one of the things she said at the end was, I thank you for sticking with me and for, not trying to push what you needed or what you wanted to tell me, or tell me that you were right, that you allow me to talk and process through my own feelings and thought process. I don't know what changes that would do, but it was a way to tell the truth in love. And it makes me, there's certain places where I just go in and out because the negativity is too much. But sometimes, as ambassadors of the light and of truth, we need to go into those spaces, because you never know why somebody is reacting the way they are, why they're misinformed, because they might be hurt, they might have been given wrong information that has hurt them in the past. So when we try to be too forceful, what we are doing is being as forceful as the negative influence that they had, and they would absolutely put up a wall and not listen to a thing we said. So telling it like it is okay in certain occasions. And you can still tell it like it is in a way that is in love, that is loving, that is engaging, that is much more receivable is the word I was trying to use, that can be received in a better way. The other thing is, sometimes we can agree to disagree, because being right is never more important than building a relationship with another human being. So when you get to an impasse where and you can set boundaries. I mean, if there's name calling, that's one of the things I like to do. Is I'm talking to you respectfully. I would love to continue this conversation, but name calling and insults is not the thing I do. Sometimes the conversation ends healthy for both of us. Sometimes they say, "Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. You have not been disrespectful," and we can continue the conversation. So we can set boundaries to protect ourselves. That doesn't mean we're going to take abuse. But at the same time, if there comes a point where there's an impasse, you can say, "You know what? It's okay to have two different points of view. I agree. I agree to disagree, but you kept that relationship of respect with that other person, and the person will respect you for that. And in the future, you can connect with them in another way. You can actually be able to relay the message that you were trying to convey." So here's my assignment for you today. How can you better your communication style to connect with people today? What would be that thing that you would have to do? Like this video, comment how do you think that you can change your mindset and your communication style. If you like my content, please subscribe to my page. And as always, have a blessed day. Bye-bye.